Hey everyone, Jangro here. Welcome back to Craftoria. I'll tell you what, I didn't expect Theurgy to be this cool. Today we're taking it to the next level by fully automating the ore processing system, as I think this is some of the best ore processing in the early game. It's really inexpensive and it's really fun. We'll be replacing the braziers, automating the heating of machines, and using Theurgy's built-in mechanics to transport both fluids and items across the system. Because that's interesting and deserves a look, even though there are many ways to move items around. Stick around. Before we jump into Theurgy automation, please give me a few seconds to thank our sponsor, Apex Hosting. Whether you're running a simple survival world or a complex modded setup like Craftoria, Apex Hosting makes server hosting easy. With 24/7 support and one-click mod pack installation, your server will be up and running in less than 5 minutes. And if you do check them out, please use my link, jangro.com/apex. That supports the channel. Thanks for your support. Now let's get back to Theurgy. Now, I wasn't planning a montage, but sometimes they just happen. Check out what's under my base. Trials chamber, literally under my base. Pretty cool. All right, to recap from the last episode, we set up this whole Theurgy ore processing setup, and it's all very manual. All of these machines are powered by braziers. We have to keep those full of coal. If you leave the coal in there, it just burns it up. Here's the end of the process, the incubator. We put sulfur of the thing we want to craft, like an iron sulfur or a diamond sulfur in here. We put some salt in there. It has to be mineral salt if we're going to make mineral like a diamond. It needs to be, we look at the iron sulfur. I think that's also a mineral. Yeah, iron requires mineral salt as well, but mineral salts we have to make from strata salts, or, we can use up actual minerals for that, but strata is free. That comes from cobblestone, stone, and we have all kinds of that stuff. And finally, over here, mercury, the mercury vessel that we fill with mercury. We make mercury in the mercury distiller by cooking also easy to get materials like sugarcane, and we get our salts here in the calcination oven. And as you might recall, we get our sulfurs by putting, say, an ore in a liquefaction cauldron. Let's see, fill these with coal. There we go. And now this one iron ore is going to turn into 5 alchemical sulfur that we put in here. We put in the sulfur vessel. Again, we need coal. It cooks these 5 alchemical sulfurs back into iron ingots. If we come around here, we should see those accumulating in there. So that's very manual, very tedious, but very powerful because we can do 5 times ores, and sometimes, in some cases, more. So we're going to replicate this whole thing again over here. All these machines are really cheap, which is great about this mod. We can get to this stuff early game. I've crafted everything. I've also crafted a bunch of this mercurial transport stuff. Extractors, inserters. Here's the wand to configure those things, some copper wire. Basically, items and fluids turn into mercury, goes through the wires. It's a really fun item transport mechanic. Let's build around the incubator. So we'll put the incubator right here in the middle. I'm going to put things up a block because I want to get under them so we can extract. When we start to automate Theurgy, processed items will come out the bottom so we can put hoppers underneath things. So that makes things easy to move in and out quickly. We can also insert things on the top and sides with hoppers as well. So here's the incubator. Let's see, we've got our vessels. And I want to put these on the sides strategically. We'll make salts over here. We'll make mercury back here. And we'll make sulfur over here. Sulfurs need sal ammoniac. Let's see, in a liquefaction cauldron. So we'll put that right here. Over here we have our mercury distiller. We'll put that down right here. And as a placeholder anyway, I think we're going to need a few of these. Let's put a calcination oven right here. I think we're going to need two. I'll just go ahead and put two down because we're turning stone into strata salt and strata salt into mineral salt. So we're going to need two calcination ovens for that. And there we go. There's our basic setup. All right, let's wire this all up. We're going to use a mercury catalyst to power everything. Get that right. Let's see. The mercury catalyst, it needs to be 8 blocks away from everything. I think right here is good. I'm going to use drawers to store some of these bulk items. So we need mercury in here and we need mercury in here. Let's just put the oak drawer right here and we'll use a hopper to pull the mercury out and into that drawer. That's an easy process. I've got a few drawers of materials here already ready to go. And we're going to use sugarcane to make mercury. And here we will use let's look at how the inserters and extractors work. So we'll put an extractor on the back of this drawer and an inserter right here on our distiller. Then we just connect them with this mercurial copper wire like this, right click. And now our distiller needs power and we can't put a brazier under there, and nor do we want to. So instead of using a brazier, we're going to use this mercury catalyst, which takes mercury as fuel. So if I just drop some mercury in here to prime the whole system, it creates this, I guess it's mercurial flux, MF. Now this thing will remotely power any machine we connect to it with a flux emitter. So we just right click on the device we want to power with an emitter and then place it on the side of the catalyst. Let's do this. Let's move this catalyst up a block because I want to be able to get to every side of it. Okay, so now we right click on the distiller here with an emitter and place an emitter on the side of the catalyst. And you can see here, it just wirely transmits power. We're going to do the same thing with all of our other machines that require power. Now this is going to create mercury. You see it's filling up here. And then we just need to pull the mercury out of here and put it into the catalyst. And also we want mercury to go in here. So we'll put an extractor. I want to make the wiring look, I don't want a wiring mess. So let's put the extractor back here and we'll use this mercurial connection node to bring the power up to the ceiling. Bring the mercury up to the ceiling, I should say. I'll connect this to this. And now I think we can insert into here and insert into here. Right click, right click, right click, right click. That looks pretty good. And I think it will round robin. It'll distribute the mercury into both of these things. All right. Our mercury is taken care of and our power is taken care of. So, okay, now we need salt. I've got this oak drawer here full of stone, and I'm going to use that to create the strata salt. Let's start with a hopper for this. So now that's putting the stone into this calcination oven. Let's see. This is going to create strata salt. Let's pull things in and out so we can watch these things work. So this is going to pull the strata salt out, and we need the strata salt to go back into this one. We'll do that with an extractor and an inserter. Nice short run, but that allows us to kind of hopper up. Now this one we'll put into a drawer right here. Let's just do that so it's nice and neat. This one, extractor right here, inserter right here, connect them together. Much cheaper than 2 hoppers. All right, we now need to power both of these ovens, and we'll right click on that, put one on this side, and we'll right click this one and put it on this side. So this stone is turning into strata salt. It's pulling the strata salt straight out. You know why? Because it's pulling out of the side. And here's what happened. The side will pull out the input and the output. It'll pull out output first, and then it will pull out any inputs. But if we operate on the bottom, it will only extract the output. Okay, this should be working now. We're getting, yes, we're getting mineral salts now. So the stone is going in here. That's creating strata salts. We've got a bunch of strata salts in here now. Let's just drop these all in this drawer. Those are going into this oven, which 5 strata salts will create 1 mineral salt. They're coming down here into this drawer. We're getting our mineral salts right here. Perfect. Now the mineral salts we need to go into the salt vessel. Doesn't have to be the top. I'm just kind of doing that to make it look nice. Connect that to that. And now this is going to fill up with our mineral salts. Perfect. Salts are taken care of. We just need to make sure this is always full of some sort of strata, dirt, cobble, stone. Okay, finally, we need to process our ores in the liquefaction cauldron. We do that by placing ores directly in there. Got a couple chests. We'll do input and output chests on the system here. So we'll put this right here. We'll do an extractor on the chest, an inserter on the cauldron, and connect them together. Now this will take whatever we put in this chest and put it in the cauldron. And we need to fill the cauldron with sal ammoniac, which is created with just water in the into the sal ammoniac accumulator. We set this up last time with our kind of infinite water supply. So we have an infinite supply of sal ammoniac, 64 buckets in this big tank. For this, we need to use mercurial fluid inserters and extractors. Perfect. So we can just put an inserter here on this cauldron and an extractor here on this tank, connect them with copper wire. Now this is going to fill up. Perfect. Now we want to only pull from the bottom. So let's put an extractor on the bottom of the cauldron. We'll put an inserter on the top, connect those. For these things to work, we need to power them. And we just need to use a couple more of these emitters. Right click on the cauldron. Place that one right here. Our cauldron is getting powered. So we'll right click on the incubator. Can't reach it from there. We'll right click on the incubator over here. And all 4 sides are taken up. We need to get it down on the bottom. There we go. Our incubator is getting powered. And it's going to start creating iron out of this iron sulfur. And now we just need an output chest. Extractor. Let's put this on the bottom. An extractor on the bottom. Inserter right here. Connect them with wire. And we're getting iron. Look at that. So as long as we keep this full of stuff that will create mercury, namely sugarcane, our distiller will continually create mercury, which will be sent to our mercury catalyst and our mercury vessel. And as long as we keep this full of stone, 5 stone will create a mineral salt that are going into this salt vessel. Our ores are getting processed into sulfurs in the cauldron, getting pushed over to the sulfur vessel, incubated, and put back in the output chest. It's not the speediest process, but I'll tell you what, it is really cool. So we just constantly process our ores into ingots. And with this, we can do any mineral processing automatically. Of course, there are different types of salts, stratas, mob drops, crops, and gems, I think, are the different types of items we can process. And we can probably just set one of these up for each of those rather than sharing them. I don't know. That seems like we could just surround this whole place with these setups. It's so easy and so cheap. All right, there's one more thing we can do with Theurgy, which is to transform items into other types of items. So by using these things called niters, which kind of represent their kind of blueprints or templates for items, we can turn one type of sulfur into other types of sulfur, upgrade them from common up to precious, and we can essentially turn cobblestone or stone, sugarcane into diamonds, nether stars, all kinds of cool stuff. We'll set that up in an upcoming video. I think that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I appreciate you.